welcome back to my channel. My name is Tara, and for those of you who don't know me, I struggle with anxiety. Long story short, so in my last video, I actually shared a clip with the world, like YouTube. I left it in the video of me after a small little anxiety attack I had on that day. I got such an incredible response from people of like how refreshing it was to see people be open like that. I'm not saying this to try to say how great I am. I really saw like an opportunity there, and I decided that it wasn't talked about enough on the internet. Growing up with YouTube, etc., and the people that I watched, it wasn't ever really discussed as much as it should have been, and just mental health in general, and it can be like a touchy subject. And before I start this video, I just wanted to say that I am not an expert. I don't have any certificate. I just have my experience. The things I've learned along the way that could possibly help you, even if you take one piece of advice out of this, or in the future if you know somebody struggling with anxiety or you struggle with anxiety yourself, that maybe something will come back to you. This video is going to be a bit more serious, but I'm trying to make it a bit more fun and a bit more exciting than just me sitting here for 15 minutes and rambling on. So what I decided to do was I actually asked for people to ask me questions on Instagram, and I wrote them down and I gave them to my sister, and she hid them around the house, so I have to basically go on a treasure hunt for these questions. There's 4 questions and I'm going to try to answer them in about just 1 minute each, and I just hope it helps even a little bit, just open up the platform to talk more about anxiety and mental health. So welcome to my upstairs bathroom. My sister thought it'd be a good idea to put one of these in a bathroom. I guess we're just gonna go with it. Symptoms of anxiety. If any of my family hear me filming this in my bathroom, they're gonna think I'm insane. So when it comes to symptoms. When it comes to symptoms of anxiety, it really can vary. So the main problems that I faced are anxiety attacks, and anxiety attacks are not fun. Like the walls of your brain are like closing in, and everything just feels uncontrollable. And I think the worst part about it is that you feel very alone. You feel alone in your own mind, and you feel alone and like it's never gonna end. Everything just feels like it's bad, but a lot of the times it can just come out of like nowhere. Like you can be so happy and it's just all of a sudden, and people try to ask you what's wrong and you don't know, and you get upset and overwhelmed because you can't explain what's going on, and you feel bad for the people that are helping you, and it just feels uncontrollable. It feels like basically like a flood of emotions have just come and you can't control any of it. Is how I would best describe it. Okay, so the next place I have found myself in is my brother's room. We're gonna talk about helping. Also, this is a hot water bottle, I'm cold. For all the people who have friends who struggle with anxiety, this is for you. I would say the best thing that you can do is be there. Just be there to listen, be there to grab some tissues, and just be able to listen. And I think also not making the person who's having the anxiety attack feel like they need to explain what's going on, because a lot of the time it's something that we can't explain, and it's something that is hard to verbalize. Even if there's something that may have triggered it, just finding a quiet place and just being there to listen can really calm the person down, and just knowing that somebody's there and not pressure on them to, when you're having an anxiety attack or you're just feeling anxious, your mind is spinning at 500 miles an hour, and anytime that I've gone through it, that has just been the number one thing that is most effective when people are trying to help me out. So just don't ask too many questions and just, yeah, be there for them, and things will become more clear after the person is calmed down. Let's go look for another one. Okay, so if you haven't noticed, it is the next day. Well, I'm in a different outfit, so that's a big indicator. My battery basically died yesterday, and by the time it was charged, I had to go to ballet. And then I had a 3-hour ballet class, so I'm just gonna finish the last 2 clips this morning before I go to church. This one is in the living room. Welcome to my living room. Never filmed in here. My voice is going. It's like 8 in the morning. So my story. Well, first of all, my mom, that sounds like formal, but my mom, she struggles with anxiety, and she actually struggled with anxiety during that time in her life when she was just finished secondary school, but she's Hungarian, so it's not secondary school, but around that time, she just got so overworked with exams that she ended up suffering from really bad anxiety because she just overstressed herself too much. So that actually, the tendency to be anxious can be passed on to the next generation, so I am more prone to that, being really young and just being in crowds of people and feeling really anxious. As long as I can remember, I've always felt anxious in one way or another, and I just felt very like prone to it. When I was like 8 and 9, those were probably the worst years because I wasn't even able to sleep over at people's houses because I got so anxious before going to bed, and I would just always get these little anxiety attacks over nothing, but I just never wanted to admit, and I was so young to realize that this is actually something that can be helped, so I just never opened up to anybody about it. That was really bad because I would just try to deal with it alone, but I was so young that I didn't know what was going on, so when I hyperventilated or got an anxiety attack, I would just have to deal with it, and it was just so bad. And in my personal journey, I eventually overcame it just by overcoming small fears at a time. So I would challenge myself to sleep over in people's houses, and I did it, and I even went to Germany in 5th class and stayed there for 3 nights with other friends but without my parents. And I think just even challenging yourself to just take those steps, even though it's hard, even at such a young age, I knew that it was really important to me overcoming those because I didn't want to let it hold me back from doing the things that I really wanted to do. Again, like you saw, it can just come up every once in a while, and I've grown so much, and I just really owe that to the people in my life who've really encouraged me through that, and also the fact that I was open about it and I wasn't shy to say, you know what, I have anxiety, and choose not to be anxious in some situations and just tell my mind, you know, nothing is wrong, you're okay, you're safe, because there was times that I had to put my anxiety aside in order to help others. This life isn't about me a lot of the times, and I know I need to take care of myself, but there's some situations where I just needed to put it aside. So also, like as a Christian, when I started growing deeper in my relationship with God, he actually, I believe, was one of the biggest parts that helped set me free from anxiety, because he just gave me such peace, and even just reading the Bible and what it has to say about peace really helped. And the last topic I'm going to be speaking about, coping. Coping is something that, as an individual with anxiety, you need to learn for yourself. The only perspective I can speak from, again, is myself. And coping for me means having people around me, not isolating myself. I used to think that the solution to anxiety attacks was to go into your room and to just not talk to anybody and just be completely alone and silent. But I realized that that is such a bad idea, because it actually makes it worse, because you are left alone with your thoughts. Who's going to be able to be there to encourage you and say, you know, it's going to get better, you're going to be okay? You feel like you're annoying people or you're being disruptive. I think surrounding yourself with really good people who you're open with and who are real friends, and also your family members who know about it, and as well distracting yourself and just finding, but whenever I get an anxiety attack, like the morning after, I always feel like I just want to go for a run, or I just want to get some exercise and just let out some steam. It can just be that little like breath of fresh air to realize that your feet are still planted on the ground and that you can still move, and you have the ability to do that and you have control over that. Also, if you're a Christian, listening to worship music, or just even reading what God has to say about anxiety, and even on the Bible app, by YouVersion, amazing to see what God's word has to say. Even though it may have been written 2,000 years ago, it's still as true as it was that time than it is now. That's what I'm trying to say. Finding good distractions, just to get your mind off it, because anxiety thrives the most when you pay attention to it. Overthinking what you're feeling and trying to make sense of it all right there in the moment isn't going to help you out. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hoped that you took something from it, or if not, you just saw the entertainment of me struggling to find those cards. Don't forget to be kind to people, because you don't know what's going on. That's really cheesy, but it's true. See you guys.